What's up, guys? My name is Redneck Vapor 44 and we're fixing to do a traveling video with keys. My sunglasses, always gotta have the sunglasses. We actually were going to pick up my little brother from church. Surprisingly, he got in trouble and he had to work something there as his punishment. So, this is where I live. Little small town in Sylacauga, Alabama. How you doing, sir? It's one of my neighbors. And this is the car we will be going in. It is a 2007 Pontiac G6 sedan. It's my uncle's car, not my car.
And remember,
turn the radio down. I do like to listen to the radio rather loud. Get my mod out of my pocket. Clear some space. I don't know what all I have. I had a key somewhere. I don't know where I put my keys. Hope I didn't leave them. There they are. Since I am just borrowing the car, he actually wants me to sell it. I don't have his key hooked up to my keychain. Let's get moving. So I know I talked about in one video potentially doing car reviews, and I probably will do that, but it will be on a separate channel. But I figured, you know what? Let's just go ahead and start right now. It's a nice, cool 55, 60 degrees in central Alabama. Not really cold enough for a jacket, but maybe cold enough to wear pants. I don't know. I usually wear shorts everywhere, but I just got the text message to come get him, so I just kind of rushed and threw some clothes on. But this is a nice car for its age. It's 2006, 2007. I don't remember exactly which one, but it's a nice car. Let's do a little interior tour. Steering wheel's a little worn, radio dash a little worn, but the car does have 242,000 miles on it, so not real surprising. Gear shifter's dirty. Oh, yellow light. Are we gonna make it? We made it. Now, one thing I don't like about living here is the speed limits are always very low. They suck. Really bad. I think the highest around this town is like 40, which means you can't really drive fast anywhere, which sucks because I like to drive fast. But this is, for a starter car, this would be a great car for somebody. You can get them relatively cheap. Got this one. He got this one for $3,500, and then it only had 100,000 miles on it. But he's driven it a lot. But you know, speaking of that, good first cars, you don't expect them to be, you know, for the average person. You know, you'll get a Corolla or a Pontiac. Maybe not a Pontiac since they're not in business anymore, but they're still great cars. I love Pontiacs so much. Especially the GTO. I love the GTO. Like, my first car was a 1977 Chevrolet Camaro. Love that thing. But since then, I have owned 12 different vehicles. So, I do have a decent amount of experience in the vehicle world. In my opinion, anyway. But this is a nice car. Steering wheel gets a little shifty when you hit the brakes, but you know, it's old, 10 years old, 10, 11 years old, blinker won't cut off. But you know, for a car as cheap as it was, it's not that bad of a car. And it also has, see that, you can shift it over into manual, and we'll try that. And you just bump shift up to different gears. I really like this idea because around here, bumper to bumper traffic is a very real thing. So driving a regular stick shift isn't really fun here because you don't ever really get to drive it. You just roll around in first gear. So having the option to go from an auto to a manual, in a sense, it's not really a manual, but you're really just bumping gears up and down, and if you screw up, the car will fix it for you. So it's really, but too, in my opinion, like, I've been teaching my fiance how to drive hers because she's got a 2016 Corolla Sport, which I will probably do a drive around video in it as well. Is I've been teaching her just to listen to the engine rev and learn when to actually shift gears, because she wants to learn how to drive a manual. And we use her paddle shifters, and I think it's a good way to, you know, start teaching people how to just learn when they need to shift the gears. Because while yes, learning the timing for the clutch is the obvious hardest part of learning how to drive a manual transmission, shifting gears is also a very important part of learning how to drive one. I'm trying to do this with one hand because I left my adhesive mount for the GoPro in my apartment, so I'm holding the GoPro with one hand and shifting the gears with the other hand, which is not safe. I do not recommend doing this on any real actual busy road, since I'm just, you know, on a little small town road here. It's not really that big of a deal. There's only a couple cars. I went the back way. Turn here. No, I like living in Alabama. I want to move to a bigger place eventually, just because I want to see more exotic cars. You know, this channel is about vaping, and there's so many rednecks down here. You mention the word vape and they just look at you like you're offended because you don't chew tobacco. That's a big deal with, you know, people chewing tobacco and whatnot, is peer pressure. Like, that's really the only reason I started, was because I was stressed, my parents were splitting up, and my friend was just like, here, he kind of pressured me into trying it. He said all the time how much it would help if I would just try dip for the first time, and I unfortunately did that, and now 4 years later I'm trying to help everybody quit dipping with vape, and I think it's going well. I mean, I had 200 views on the first video, so if 200 people even had the thought of quitting tobacco of any kind and switching to the vape like this one, then I feel like I was successful. Even if every other video I make gets 1 view, that's one person that potentially quits dipping or smoking and switches to a vape. And in my opinion, that's a great thing. I think that is a wonderful thing to have. Now, you know, I know it's not all big and grand like some of these people that got like 500,000 views and subscribers. Maybe one day we'll get there. And eventually, if we do get up higher, because right now, you know, I am unemployed, unfortunately. I had to quit my job due to medical reasons. Maybe one day I can start doing giveaways, and I can start coming out to meet the people, and, you know, maybe have a get-together with everybody that I've helped quit, or just people who have quit in general, and, you know, we can all hang out, play video games or something. Go on a little trip. But this is where I'm getting my brother from. It's our church. It's a little nice church. But maybe you'll get to meet him one day, but for right now, guys, I may add to the video in a little bit, but having him and driving and videoing is probably going to be impossible. So I'll see you guys later. Enjoy.